Thank you very much for this nice introduction. My name is Jan Egberts from Kiel University, and I'm very happy to present you our data from the Multidisciplinary Robotic program here in Kiel. Why multidisciplinary? When some years ago we were asked ourselves, a few years ago, how we can get a robot system to our institution, it was clear to us that in our conditions, with our highly regulated resources, we're only able to get a robot in this multidisciplinary approach. Because not a single department buys a robot and uses it, but in the context of the interdisciplinary approach of different surgical departments, we get more weight in the faculty, more weight in the management, and thus more possibilities to convince the corresponding institutions by bundling our interests. And by that time, we at our institution had a long history and tradition of a multidisciplinary minimal invasive surgery program known as the Kiel School of Endoscopy Surgery, founded by Kurt Sem in 1982. Therefore, 3 surgical departments, namely the Department for Urology, the Department for Gynecology, and the Department of Surgery, which combines the thoracic surgery and the visceral surgery, we applied for a research grant at the German Society for Research almost 10 years ago. And we were happy to get the funding for SI system with the instruments and the service maintenance. And we got also additional funding by a local foundation here in my state. So it was therefore clear from day one that the new system will be used and shared accordingly by each surgical team, and that all the team members will go through the learning curve at almost the same time. This was certainly a special situation, because in other hospitals it is often the case that the systems are already being used by one department, and then the new team start and takes the slot away from the original department, which has potential for some discussions. So how have we mastered this phase? Well, we focused on teams, combining the console and the table assistants, as well as the scrub nurses, and very important, the whole team of the anesthesiologists. We focused on organs, starting with the colorectal program, then we changed to other areas of the abdomen. And we performed many case observations in Europe and USA and Asia to get some new ideas and ways to do this. We had a very good scientific exchange, because we as a university hospital, we need to publish some data and report our results, and we had a good networking of national and international team members. And we had a good interdisciplinary exchange from our surgical departments, but also from other departments, for example, the Institute for Clinical Anatomy, where we were able to get a system from Intuitive to get training on the cadaver lab for a couple of days, where we trained new surgical approaches and new surgical procedures. And out of this week where we got our training, we established a OR workshop for RAMI procedures, which means a totally robotic esophagectomy. We were able to offer last year, and we will have one this year again. This was a very good course with very experienced surgeons with good impressions and good new ideas. Here you can see the different steps on the time axis. We started in the classical way with colorectal procedures in 2013, the sigmoid resections, with the low anterior resections and right hemicolectomies. Then we moved up to the thorax with lobectomies, segmentectomies. Then we went to the esophagectomy, and we were the first center in Germany performing a total robotic Ivor-Lewis procedure as a RAMI procedure. And in 2017 we performed the first complete cervical esophagectomy. We called it RAISE procedure. We focused on the HPB. We performed our first Da Vinci Whipple procedure in 2016. And the last years we also started a quite big bariatric procedure program and a living donor kidney transplantation program. And you can imagine that we are very booked out very easily with the first system, which means that we had a second system in 2016 and another system which is an XI system we got 3 years ago. And the XI system, I will report on the next slides, is the system, the only system we use for the surgery department, which means for the thoracic and the visceral surgery. And we were very happy and honored when we received the status as an epicenter for robotic surgery in 2018, which means that we are a case observation center, and we have some publications on this field with new procedures. And one of the milestones was also the foundation of a university robotic center. I will give you more information about that later. So now we have more than 1,500 Da Vinci cases in the surgical department and more than 3,000 cases in the whole departments here. Here you can see the caseload for surgery in our department, and we started with the SI system, with one SI system in 2013, and in 2017 we got the XI system I mentioned before, and we use this exclusively for our surgery department now. And with this XI system we now have a caseload of 350 cases a year, which means this is fully booked out in one system for just the surgery department. The SI systems, the other ones, are used by the gynecologist and the urologist. In total we have more than 3,000 cases. Here you can see what the surgical focus are in our department. As I mentioned before, the colorectals, lobectomy for lung cancer, esophagectomies, and the quite big bariatric procedure program. And we're also trying to increase the numbers of the HPB sector and the kidney transplantations and adenectomies. But due to the quite high caseload of the other four groups, the systems is fully booked out, and we have sometimes difficult to get free OR slots. So today we have more than 10 surgeons, trained 10 surgeons as a console surgeons, more than 25 nurses, so we don't have a lack of scrub nurses for robotic surgery. We have access 5 days a week. We use in surgery department mostly the XI system, and we have access from Monday to Friday. And the system is fully booked out for the 4 to 6 weeks in advance, which means that we need more systems, and we are trying to get another XI system. So I want to show you here the reason for this quite successful program I would like to show you. One reason is definitely that we were able to motivate and inspire all team members during the years. And we also got the freedom and the patience from our hospital management to start the program, which is very essential because the efficacy of the operating rooms, the operating times, and turnover times in the first cases are lower and take more time compared to the standard you used before. And the management has to know it, that it takes its time, but once you're trained, you will get even faster than you were before. We see the robots as a surgical tools used by various disciplines. It's not a tool by one institution, but it's shared by all surgical disciplines. And therefore we set up a common robot cost center for the instruments and the disposables to avoid expensive back and forth calculations. And through the maximum utilization of the system, the running costs are even reduced. So that means that free OR slots are reported early to all other team members in order to maximize the booking of the OR. In this context, I would like to mention the Genesis program, which is a program offered by Intuitive, which really helps to further improve your logistics, your standards, and to get a higher caseload in the OR. We are very happy to have this Genesis program after 2 years of our programs here, and we have really improved our OR output out of this. And one very important point of this thing is that the costs were stable over the years. So the calculations we performed before were stable. And a very good development in this last weeks is that the cost will even drop a little bit, which is a very important signal for the administration. I want to show you an example here. This shows you the estimated cost of our instruments in my institution, which was 1 million a year. And due to the new program, which is called the extended use program for the instrument, which means that the lives of the instruments will increase up to 18 for an instrument, which means you reduces the cost per instrument. So the new pricing with the extended use program will be a saving of about 150,000 euro in our institution, just with the new extended use program. And which is top down here for the colorectal program. It shows you here that the LRR will reduce the prices of about 200 euros, and the right hemicolectomies will also be a reduce of 200 euros per case by the instruments. And we have seen this a very good sign and signal for our management. Another reason for the successful program was that the scrub nurse educational program was established, which means that we have a certification for the scrub nurses as a technical instruction and also as a practical qualification as on the table nurses, which is very good motivation for the scrub nurses to have credits and certificates once they apply for other institutions. And we are very happy that we have many nurses who want to go in the Da Vinci OR and get the certificate. Another very important step was the foundation of the Kurt-Sem-Zentrum, which I mentioned before, which is the first structure-built center for robotic-assisted surgery in a university hospital in Germany, which covers the clinical, the teaching and the research activities together. Which means that we're learning from and with each other, and we maximize our resources while saving our costs. And we have a modular training concept for our residents, and this means that we have a higher attractiveness for applications for new residents. Very important was the foundation of a training center for intuitive in 2020, which means that we now have guests here to get training on the OR, on the XI system, the training center, and they can combine their training activities with a case observation in one institution. Yeah, thank you very much for your attention. I'm very happy to get in discussion with you. Thank you.